book friends. Anna's Book Nook. I think that's what the name currently is. I've changed it a few times in the past, so bear with me. I'm pretty sure it's Anna's Book Nook now. You can pronounce it Anna or Anna or Ina, however you want to say it. I don't care. You can say it however you want. It's part of my middle name. I'm not really overly fond of my first name because it's really, really common. And my middle name is my great-grandmother's name, so I prefer that for, like, friendly nicknames and stuff. So I'm going by Ina. I'm not used to doing this. I'm not used to book videos. I've attempted it a few times in the past, and I always fail. My brain, I have squirrel brain. Okay, it goes, boop. I'll just be sitting here talking, and then I'll literally see a squirrel out the window and be like, oh, and just get distracted. But yeah, so we're gonna do book things today. We're gonna talk books. This is my, what is today? The 22nd? It's Sunday the 22nd, I think. It's my weekly wrap-up. I'm gonna try and do these once a week if I can keep up. Sometimes I read a lot, sometimes I don't read at all, so we will see. But this week I happen to read a lot. A lot. We did a bunch of reading sprints over on Roxie Reads channel, and I did a lot of TikTok sprints and some sprints with Sock Marionette, who is also Bargain Counter Argument. I will leave Roxie and Sock linked in the description since I'm talking about them. But that's where I did like sprints. We do productivity or reading sprints and just hang out and have fun. So during those, I got a lot of reading done. A lot. For me, it's a crazy amount. As someone who has gone down like the fanfiction wormhole recently in the last couple of years and just not done a whole lot of physical reading, it's a lot. I believe it's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've read 6 books, and I've started 2 more, or continued one and started another one. So yeah. Well, 5 books and a novella, but I count the novella because the novella was like over 100 pages long or something, so I count it. But yeah, Goodreads and Fable counted as a separate book, so am I. We'll go ahead and get into that. It's basically an Elsie Silver marathon for me. So we're going to talk a lot of Elsie Silver. I'm going to try to avoid spoilers because I don't like getting spoilers unless I specifically ask for it. Or it's something I'm just not going to read myself, but I'm still interested in hearing about. So let's do that. This is, I'm sure we turn a little bit. You can see my shelf here. This is my little cowboy shelf. These are my cowboys. This was my great-grandmother's, the one I'm named after. This was her cow, and that was her swan right there. But I decided to use it as decor. This is my little cowboy shelf. It's mostly Elsie Silver. I am looking forward to reading Lila Sage. I just don't own any of her books right now. So, there's that. We've got the Gold Rush Ranch. We've got Chestnut Springs and Rose Hill. I have finished Chestnut Springs officially, so that's what we're talking about right now. I previously read Flawless. I believe I finished that in January, I think. Maybe December of sometime. I finished it sometime. But in the last week I've read Heartless, Powerless, Reckless, and Hopeless. And then I also read Off to the Races and the novella I think it's Out of the Gate or something like that. For the Off to the Races book. It's inside this book. This is a edition that came with the novella inside the book. So there's that. But that's what I've read this week. So getting more into the books, I can tell you right now, not a single one of them was rated under 4 star. I think most of them were rated 5 stars for me. Off to the Races, I gave a 4.5, I think. Most of the Elsie Silvers, I think I gave a 5-star because I am obsessed with them and I'm so happy I own copies of them right now and I'm never getting rid of them and I will reread them again and again and again, which is basically on my star rating. I can't remember exactly what I had it as, but like if it's a 5-star for me, it's something that I would burn the world to the ground to keep on my shelf. So it's never going away. But yeah, so we had a lot of tropes in here, a lot of things going on. We've had, with the series, we had forced proximity, we had friends to lovers, we had like some grumpy sunshine going on thrown in there. Lots and lots of different things going on. Single dad. There was one of the brothers, I believe it was Heartless. The older brother, Cade, has a young son named Luke before his relationships in the book starts. So there's that. These, for the Chestnut Springs specifically, which is what the main focus is, I'm kind of scattered here, so you'll have to forgive me. I had notes partially written down and I lost them, so we're just flying out of my head right now. For Chestnut Springs specifically, if you're not familiar with the series or the author, this is a series, but it's a series of interconnected standalones. So you don't have to read one to read the next. You can read them out of order, you can read them in order. The thing is, though, because they're interconnected, say you read Powerless first, you're going to meet the couples in Powerless that happened in the previous 2 books. That's how that happens. So you don't have to read one to read the other, but to know what's happening in the story. They're all about different couples. Let's see, this one is Rhett and Summer. That's my washer going off. Kate and Willa. I think this one, this is Jasper and Sloane. Reckless, I believe. Which one is this? Trust and Harder to Resist. This is Theo, yeah. Theo and Winter. Winter is the sister of Summer, and Theo is the mentee for Rhett in the first book. Hopeless is for Bo and Bailey. Bo is the brother in the military. Let's see. There's a whole bunch of stuff. Okay, so Rhett is a bull rider, and Cade works the family ranch. And Jasper is the best friend of Bo and kind of like their adopted brother. So he is a hockey player. And Theo is another bull rider who is being mentored by Rhett. And then Bo was in the military. So they're all there. So it's fun. I think of them all as cowboy romance because they're all kind of centered around the ranch and everything. So, yeah, but there's that. I feel like I'm kind of like scattered here, so I apologize for that. But I absolutely adored these books. I adored them, and I am so looking forward to finishing the next 2 series, the Rose Hill and the Gold Rush Ranch. I went and binged through these so hard. I keep saying and and it's irritating. Squirrel brain. Okay, so I was trying to get through these really, really quick because I was enjoying them and I just couldn't put them down. They're like one of those you cannot put it down situations. Where's the bookmark? I made these bookmarks out of some old wrapping paper from a mystery book that I got, and some Bristol board and packing tape. But I stuck stickers on the back of them, and this is just one chapter, just one more. But I made these. I made 3 of them, and I had fun with it. But that's what I think of every time I pick up one of the books now, is that bookmark. I could not put these down. I kept going and going and going. I was reading one a day. I think there's one day where I had to take a break because I wasn't feeling well. I keep drifting off. You'll have to forgive me. I'm new to this. Give me a break. but I kept reading and reading and reading. I got sick for a day or two and had to slow down a little bit. But that is how good I found this. And most people I've seen really, really enjoyed Chestnut Springs. Some of them, not all of them, didn't really like the Gold Rush Ranch. And I can see, I can understand that. It's probably not for everybody. Let's, like, drifting a little bit away from Chestnut Springs. Finishing up Squirrel. Chestnut Springs, there is some spice. It's not overly detailed. It's not, like, it doesn't consume the book. Most of them, if you're curious to know, most of the spice starts, for most of the books, towards, like, the middle to the end of the book. It's not, like, right at the beginning. I mean, I think Theo and Winter is the one that has more widespread stuff, but the rest of them are mostly toward the middle to the end. So if that's, and it's not clean, it's not fade to black, I'm telling you that now. There is some detail. You do get some detail in it. And it does happen more than once. So it's not everybody's cup of tea, but it's there. For Off to the Races, we're slipping, so Squirrel. Like I said, six books. So I read Heartless, Powerless, Reckless, Hopeless. I read Off to the Races and a novella here for Gold Rush Ranch. I did, for Off to the Races, the couple is Vaughn and Billy, her real name is Wilhelmina, but she goes by Billy Black. Vaughn's family owns a racehorse ranch and a resources company, which is like mining and gold and stuff. And Billy is from a well-to-do family, but she she ran away and changed her name. She didn't want to go back to that. She wants to avoid that. She has morals, and she's sticking to them. But they meet when she goes there to be the trainer for his new horse, and that's how they come together. Ooh, that one, the way the book starts, the way, like, getting into this one, I can tell, because this is the most recent one I've read. It's like fresh in my mind, and the way it started, the way Vaughn was being depicted, just kind of made my skin crawl. Just a little, just way. And I was telling people in our reading sprints, I was like, okay, so as I was reading, it was slowly getting better, and I was like, okay, he's allowed to sit, if we were around a bonfire, he could sit in a camping chair like 30 feet away from me, and I would be okay with it at this point. It eventually got better, but at the start of it, I was like, if he comes near me, I'm gonna hurt him. Oh, that was how that was going. I did really, really like this, though, and I have started photo finish. I'm having a squirrel brain moment again. I started photo finish. I'm on chapter 5 currently, and this is Cole, which is Vaughn's older brother, and Violet, who is the younger sister to the boys in the Chestnut Springs series. So that's who this book is for. They're interconnected. The characters from this series do get mentioned in this series, so they're all there. But again, they're standalone, so you don't have to read one to read the next. You're good. But this is currently Violet and Cole. Cole ends up coming to the ranch. He was working in the city. He ends up coming to the ranch because he needs to stay there closer to where he's working on a project for another acquisition for their company. And Violet is starting off her career as a jockey, where she was working at the ranch previously as a groom. She's now a jockey racing the horses, and they had previous connections. So things are going there, as far as I know so far, and I am absolutely adoring this one so far. This is the one I was looking forward to, because I met these characters in this series, and I was like, I need Violet's story, but I'm reading them in order. So technically this series came first, but I'm reading in order. I'm really excited for this one. The novella I was talking about is actually in the back of this book, and it is called Out of the Gate, and it is the story of Dermot and Ada, who are Vaughn and Cole's grandparents, and how they started Gold Rush Ranch. Gold Rush Ranch existed before them, but they're the ones that made it into a racing ranch. So that's that novella in the back of this particular edition is where you got that. And I loved that story. It was adorable. It was cute. And it also made me want to kind of just like find the book and smack the grandfather over the head with it. And it's very sad. Like, I can't tell if it made me happy or sad, but it was there. So, yeah. I'm trying to figure out how I want to do this. From now on, I need to keep better track. This one's a little scattered because I didn't take notes as I read. I was kind of just like zoning out and reading. I am planning on keeping better track in the future. But like I said, this week we already went through this. I've read these ones. I read this one. I started this one, and I have also, I can get it pulled up. I am trying to go more through my physical books right now. But there is another author right now I'm also trying to get through her books, which is Allison Spica, who is an indie author that I found on TikTok. And I am working, I've already read Love Linked, and there's a novella that goes with Love Linked about his best friend that I read. I can't remember the title off the top of my head. But I am, okay, nope, I need the title page so I can see the cover. Let me see the cover. I'm also reading Trip Switch by Allison Spica. I am, I believe, 67% through. I'm on chapter 20. And a lot of her books are heavy banter, light spice. You can really get into them. They're not gonna like slap you in the face with all the spiciness though, which is really good and really fun when you just want something kind of lighthearted and a little giggle worthy that's not gonna put you in a mood. But I'm really enjoying that one so far. It's very Grumpy Sunshine. It's about Harrison and Lila. Harrison is the best friend of the brother to, I believe, the main character in Love Linked. The main male character there. Harrison's the best friend of Oliver, who is the brother of, I can't remember his name. I know the girl's name is Charlie. Oh, it's been a few months since I read that book. But yeah, it's very good. Lila's a overachieving people pleaser, and Harrison just does not like people in general. He's very closed off. So they get stuck together on a trip by a mistake when they are going to like a pre-honeymoon wedding celebration with their group of friends who are getting married. They get stuck on a plane to another destination and end up, I think it was in Greece or Italy. I think it's Italy. And their friends are in Fiji. So it's like a one bed, enemies to lovers kind of just like mashup of angst and worry. And it's so wonderful. I'm enjoying it immensely, but it's one of those where I kind of just want to read a few chapters at night before I go to sleep. I'm enjoying that very much though. I think that's everything I wanted to talk about. Like I said, I'm working my way through the Elsie Silver. I'm also going to need to start taking a break, though, and breaking it up a little bit. I do want to read some historical romance. I'm feeling very much into my historical romance, and they are all down here on the bottom. Like, I have 4 of these shelves, the Target shelves, and the whole bottom's full. I really need to read some of those. So, that's what we're working on. That's what I'm going through. I've got lots of reading to do, and I'm just gonna let my squirrel brain go now, and I'll talk to you guys later. If y'all got any tips for doing this, let me know, because I got nothing here. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. I'll leave the links, like I said, for Roxie and Sock and my AC kicked on I'll leave the links for Roxie and Sock in the description below, and I will see you guys later on the reading sprints. Bye! Add this in here and point out that this is what happens when Mama wants to start making book videos. Little gremlins decide they want to climb on the shelves. This is Seth. This is my cat Persephone, also known as Shadow Cat. But yeah, she decided she wanted to be Mom's companion and just hang out. That's the snow globe I got. Oh, match her. Yes, yes, I know you want treats.